in the paper. I love the idea not to print the chart of the goals with the story about the goals. That maybe wasn't our best moment.
What are you talking about? On the web at dailytidings.com, you will find in a yellow box inside the story all of the 11 goals.
Only because after the paper went out and people flooded your website with, you guys are the biggest idiots I've ever heard.
What are you talking about?
How do you not put the goals in the newspaper with the story?
We couldn't figure out how to put the 11 bullet points in a top 10 box. So we just
got rid of them. They should have stuck with 10. We would have put them in the paper. All right, the goals. First, you got to go through these goals because this is important. I think we have the list. We'll call those up. First and foremost, there's like 90 words to say that basically they're going to develop an economic development strategy, okay, which includes local economy, diverse population, blah, 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 okay, living wage, all these other things. But they're going to have economic development strategy. That's important. We'll get back to it. They're going to have a city employee continuity strategy, which I think is basically saying we're going to try to keep the people we hire because every time they leave, we can't get other people to come and work for their wages.
And they're leaving.
And they are leaving. They're going to develop a citywide transportation strategy. Okay. Isn't it ironic that
a bus.
This is at the same time when the bus fees have gone up, ridership has gone down, we don't have Greyhound bringing anybody here anyways, so even if you want to use our transportation, you've got to drive here to get here. But we'll go back to that later.
Segways for everybody.
Citywide visioning plan, a plan to develop fiscal stability, generate net increase in affordable work housing by a minimum of 200 units by the year 2010. This is important. There's a specific goal here now of 200 units by 2010. And then we got conservation of energy, workforce housing for city employees. Okay, we don't keep libraries open, but now we're going to house our employees. And long-term plan for city facility properties, that's probably good. You own something, you're probably going to take care of it. And a strategy for the railroad property, which has been discussed many times, that's good. And then the 11th one, which is a kicker all its own, complete the downtown plan process. So those are the lists. Obviously, we only have a few minutes, we can't get through them all, but I think there's a couple of points that at least we want to start with. One is, last year they couldn't even agree on a list of goals.
So that's a good thing, yes.
You know? We got a list.
We're averaging 5.5 goals a year.
There you go. Now, and the one thing I do know, which is interesting, is the comprehensive economic development plan strategy that was number one on this list. And I don't know if these are in any particular order, but there you go. It's number one. Was also the plan in 2004, and they haven't done a thing with it since. So maybe this one, the number one, will fare a little better. Just a plan. And then the other thing is this downtown planning process. The first 10, I guess, were all agreed unanimously, and then somebody at the end threw in they wanted the downtown plan, and ironically, Navickas, Hartzell, and Hardesty voted in favor of adding it as the 11th goal to the list. The other three all voted against it, and Mayor broke the tie to put it on the list.
Yes.
I didn't hear the discussion
11.
about what was. Did you get a sense of what the different sides were?
Yeah, this is a really. We could go down this whole downtown plan thing. My hope is that this is another political football that is dividing this. This is, you might as well throw it in there with Mount A and the golf course and all the stuff that everybody's going to recall over, because the downtown plan now has become the symbol of that, which is really ironic because some of the big supporters of the downtown plan would have been people who are in the pro-business community, at least at first, but now I think you're seeing something totally different.
Shouldn't they at least discuss it? I think that list should be flip-flopped. I think the downtown plan should be number one, and they should resolve it one way or another because it impacts everything else that they want to do.
I know, but here's the crazy part. They put it on as number 11. They can't even get through their previous list. How are they going to fund any of these? What are they going to do with them? How are they going to make, even if they spent 1 month completely doing nothing but this, what progress are they going to make? So at best, they're going to have to pick 2 or 3 things that they're going to actually make some progress on. So this is really just a footprint of, wow, aren't all these things neat? Which means Mr. Morrison gets a chance now to vote and say, yeah, I'm for the downtown plan, I'll put it on there. Yet the vote over a year ago was in his hands. If he'd have just voted yes back then, like he did now, the downtown plan would be done. Done. Thank you for that vote to make it number 11, Mr. Morrison.
And he's just putting it on the table as a discussion.
Well, I agree, but that's it. That's the point. That's why people didn't want to do the downtown plan in the first place, is because they say, oh, it's nothing but discussion. And that's not this. This is any one of these. If this if these 11 goals don't crystallize into 2 or 3 things that the city can get behind and see dramatic improvement, then the only thing we're going to be talking about for the next year is the lawsuits at Mount Ashland and the recall that is going to continue to go over and over, and more wasted time, wasted money.
That downtown plan was like $60,000 or something to get that. Was that part of the issue?
The $400,000 was the overall cost. The city would have made it had to pay half of it.
Okay, so that's a lot
but
of Segways.
They had $125,000 in designated funds for economic and tourism development that they could have used. So there was money there to be used.
Is there on your list anywhere about the fountain that's still
No,
broken
fixing the
downtown?
fountain didn't make the list.
Didn't make the list.
You know, fixing the pea green upper duck pond that looks like Anderson split pea didn't make the list.
These are big picture.
These are very big picture things.
Weren't we talking about this during the election last year?
Yes, and the most affordable, generate a net increase in affordable workforce housing by a minimum of units of 200 by the year 2010. So that's in the next 3 years. They want 200 new designated affordable housing or workforce housing units. Where's that money coming from? If you're going to cut off the downtown plan, you don't want developers to be able to get in there and do anything with it. The developers are the only ones that are actually going to be putting the thing on. I mean, where's the money for it?
They don't have a clear vision.
In 2 years.
3 years, 200 units. That's what, 60 some units a year. And plus they have to designate what it is. If somebody builds an apartment building, is that suddenly affordable housing? I don't think it is. I think they're talking about designated affordable housing that will be permanent housing that will have all these restrictions of growth and, against capitalistic increases and all the rest.
I don't know what the deal is with the workforce housing. It might have a different.
But that's my point.
Standard,
is you have to meet. This is one of the only measurable goals on there. To meet it, you got to start by saying, okay, what is it? What meets it? What unit gets built that says this is now one of those 200? And then how are you going to pay for it? Just that one alone would take an entire year. And I don't know.
Figure it out in between all the development appeals.
I love that they've got goals. It's just more rhetoric to me. And the worst of the rhetoric is adding this downtown planning thing. And I'm an advocate of the downtown plan. And that's going nowhere. Leave it off the list.
In 2010, what will be the economic engine of Ashland?
Well,
will it be any different than it is today?
If they get a comprehensive economic development strategy, that would be one thing that they could do that might answer that question. And I would say, make number one, get it done, and you're off to a good start.
Okay, agreed.
All right.